Why is law so uniquely terrible at dealing with this?
I think it's the facade, and I talk a lot about that too. That's the armor. Uh, a lot of times they really can't be truthful in the things that they need to be. And the struggle with that is that honesty in their line of work doesn't work. And I'm not talking about law. I'm talking about in them that's in the industry. Uh, Being forthright, um, showing that you got a chink, uh, undecisive, emotional. Just these are some of just the adjectives I'm throwing out. They're not wanted in conversations in the law industry. The uncertainty from you being vulnerable in law can be detrimental to you continuing in law just because of the culture that's set. I've had a couple of internships with judges, and I had one judge in Philadelphia. He's still on the bench today. Me and him talked for about, shoot, just went for our lunch, but we talked about 2.5, 3 hours. I did not even know the time went like that. And when we got done with the conversation and he wrote up my paper that I needed for him for school, he said, man, I thought like you when I first graduated from law school. He said, my thought was like, why did they make us go through a boot camp at school so we could be against everyone? Why was it always made a competitive thing? Why was it always a fervor of always pointing the finger at that attorney that didn't get this score and that? He said they built a culture of you always on the attack. And he said, though at times that served me well, he said, over the length of time that I've been in law, it hasn't. And he said that we're caught in this hamster wheel of just putting on this facade of this is okay with everybody. And you said 30%. I beg to differ that it's higher than that, even
Well,
just
that's
from,
an ABA. That's an ABA figure.
yeah,
They
it ain't gonna
probably
be
don't
too
want
much
to
higher.
broadcast that.
Yeah, they're not gonna put too much highness on it, right?
Yeah. So when you talk about vulnerability, I could see the vulnerability in working with, your office in that, showing that you have a vulnerable side. But does that translate into working with clients? Because I can see that that could be actually a negative.
It's a negative. It's a negative on the essence of how we view the word, how we view how vulnerability is defined. Do if we read the dictionary element, yeah, it could be. It could be, but there's so many things that you show in a vulnerability every single day that you're not even aware of. The superstitions that you hold, as far as what's this and what's that. With your office or with the office, I say that it's an act of setting a culture where it's comfortable for people to be there themselves. They're not the ones going to court. They're the ones helping you to get to your bottom line. Most of the time, I mean, I'm doing paralegal now, litigation. I set up everything for an attorney to go to court. Everything. Filed, the exhibits, the list, witness list. Paralegal is the attorney's best friend. The attorney go and
Hmm.
look good. The paralegal make him look good. Throughout all of that, the attorney still has the stoicness of doing the trial, presenting the
Hmm.
case, being in front of the judge. Those things we do want. Those elements we do want. I don't want you to be that way with me at the job and you're downside or you're down talking me or you're condescending to me or you're kind. It's just not me. I'm just saying the firm in general. You're condescending or there's no relationship at the firm except for everybody know you're the boss. I think that's a horrible way to run business. And what a lot of attorneys don't say in the open is that brings about the stress. It ain't so much of the burnout of cases. They've been taught to win cases. The burnout is the culture in places where they work, the people who they work for.